This video, we are going to explore some mechanisms to develop and design well-converting landing pages. In order to do that, we will take an inverse approach to designing our landing pages. A very famous concept, which is invert, always invert, made very famous by none other than Charlie Munger, the business partner of Warren Buffett. What it basically says is that in order to have a successful outcome, look at all the possible outcomes that will result into a failure, which means invert the scenario, figure out what are the things that would result in a failure, and avoid those. The original concept being made famous by the mathematician Carl Gustav Jacobi loosely translates to invert, always invert. So we're going to look at some of the landing pages that, in my opinion, do not work well in terms of conversions, so that we can remember these things and ensure that we don't have them as a part of our landing pages. So I've picked up 3 companies that were a part of the recent Y Combinator company list on the demo day, and we're going to go through some of the things that we could do better on some of these landing pages. Now, this company here, Nala.money, basically is the smartest and safest way to make payments in Tanzania and Uganda. Now, what are some of the challenges with these landing pages? First of all, the menu on this website is a mobile menu. As you can see, when pressed, it brings up a mobile menu. It is very naive to assume that a lot of people in countries like Tanzania and Uganda would probably be mobile first. At the same time, even with the most sophisticated countries, people still have difficulties understanding that, or a difficulty realizing that this might actually bring up the menu items. So for an unsuspecting user, there's no other way but to browse this page as the only page on the website. One of the better ways of tackling this problem would be to stick to the defaults that most websites would have. So either have a text menu or change this icon into the word menu, which will be an indicator to the users that they can click this icon to bring up some of the other things on the website. In addition to this, the top section of the website is image heavy, but at the same time, the image is hierarchical than the title or the call to action. You'd really want your title and call to action being the one that attracts the most attention, and that's what you want your visitors to read and take action on. So one of the ways to improve here would be to increase the opacity on the background image to make it much, much lighter, so that users can then read what the company does and take the intended action that the company wants them to take. Continuing down, the whole section is based on the questions: would you like to send and receive money internationally, followed by, do you want to make hassle-free money transfers across different countries? A better way to tackle this would be to give a user information on how Nala sort of answers these questions. So just by asking those questions, you're giving the visitor no reason to stick around and continue using the website or try and find more about the website. If you go further down, it goes into a bit of detail with a screenshot showing the usage of the app. So when the GIF actually shows the usage of the app, it does make sense. But when you actually read here, Nala gives you full access to digital financial service at your fingertips. No more long USSD and whatever that is. Now, if you're a user in Tanzania and Uganda, high chance that you do know what that is, but there's still a section of your audience that would probably not know what this is all about. So always assume that the user is the most naive person and would have difficulty really understanding your app or using your software or using your website, and make sure that you make it as easy and as less confusing for the user as you can. Further down, there's a slideshow in here with 4 images. Again, a lot of images being placed with basically wordings that are generic in nature. Take control really doesn't tell me what take control of what, learn how to manage your money, and a few other things. So again, this section could be more clearly put using small icons as opposed to really heavy images. The other disadvantages of having such large images is that it would increase the load size of the page and also the total size of the page itself. There's some good, obviously there's some good social proof here, which should ideally fall at the top of the page, followed by some testimonials or some of the things that people have said. Again, a section that probably needs a lot of highlight should go towards the top of the page. It goes into a little bit more detail about the sort of features that the company has. So it does follow some basic guidelines of a good landing page, but misses out on the fact that it's a little bit unstructured. The copy is confusing at best, and obviously the page is really heavy, so loading the page will take quite a bit of time. We follow that up with another company here, which is also a Y Combinator company, Your Choice. Again, image heavy at the top, asks you to scroll, as instead of having a CTA, asks you to scroll to the bottom of the page, describes the problem and the solution, followed by a very densely populated informational section. Now, the question is, what's the CTA here? Revolutionizing birth control, but what does Your Choice do? So it's a bit unclear until you start reading up on what the whole problem is, what the solution is, and then followed up with some more information that is generic in nature. So again, a better job could be done by really thinking about what needs to be presented on the home page. This section here, your problem, solution, our mission, could be converted into a feature versus feature benefit section, and could be followed up with CTAs. If that's what you want people to do, that is contact you, then that's probably your CTA that you want to target. We follow this up with a little bit more modern company, Vector Dash. One of the things that Vector Dash does is lets you play your favorite games on any computer. Now, that is obvious, and kudos to the team at Vector Dash for making it obviously clear at the top. Things that we shouldn't do, in terms of browsing the website. So the GIF really explains the whole how the whole system may work. There's this bar at the bottom which you are forced to view, despite you do know that yes, there's a limited time discounts, but there should be an opportunity for a user to be able to cancel this. It gets worse on a mobile phone. So if you were to open this up on a mobile phone, you would see that it actually breaks at the bottom and obviously goes past, and it's just basically unreadable following that. So there's obviously some work that could be done in terms of removing that bar completely, maybe introduce that as a hello bar at the top, or maybe maybe have a float in at some point in time. Now, it does a good job of getting the CTAs, but if your CTAs are that close, you can even stick to having just one CTA at the top. So get started here followed by get started here, and again, if I click on this, that takes me to the same page. It's a bit reductive, and possibly forces the user to evaluate other options. So that's about it in terms of what are some of the things that you should try and avoid. Landing page needs to be clear, needs to describe what you do, what the solution is, should reduce the amount of confusion on the page, should give as much information to the user as they need to convert, and probably should feature the best part about your solution at the very start of the landing page. Landing page is also all about the copy, a story to tell, the narrative. If your page is all about, here's some games that you can play, here's how you could do unlimited gaming for $14, there's a very less chance, or there's a chance that your conversions might not be as good as a landing page with a lot of narrative.